welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your one and only Eric on the winning side. Thank you guys for the amazing love and the support that you've always been showing me on this YouTube channel. Guys, remember, if you're a new member in this channel, kindly consider subscribing to this amazing YouTube channel, alright? Yeah, and if you are an oldie, if you've been there with me from day one, yeah, feel welcomed once again in this amazing episode of doing lessons that we learn from our big celebrities. Alright guys, yeah, and I feel so much encouraged, I feel so much pumped up for today's video, and this is another day to focus on another amazing guy. Alright, yeah, and he's one person who has done quite a lot, and I am sure you are ready to learn something new, and this is the only channel that you get to be inspired and motivated all through the week. Let's jump into the topic of today, guys. So guys, the focus of today is Steve Harvey. Alright, yeah, you've heard me right, Mr. Steve Harvey. And I know that probably you've heard stories about Steve Harvey. You've heard him speak about himself. He's one of the guys that is actually very, very encouraging. It's one of the guys that I find his story quite moving and inspiring. And I want to focus on Steve Harvey because this is one of the guys that moved from rags to riches. This is one of the guys that grew from nothing into something. And as I talk about this story, I feel very much inspired of him, and I may not cover much of his story, but I'll pick those very important details of his life. And I remember as I was going through Steve Harvey's story, I could see that there was one time when he started, when he was in school, the teacher told them that everybody to write down. And I remember, even as we've ever done these activities, write down what you want to become in future. And probably you and I have gone through the same activity with our teachers or at school at any point of our schooling, and you wrote down what you wanted to do. So Steve Harvey, in his early years, you know, the teacher said that you guys can you write what would you want to be when you grow up, or in future what would you want to be? And so everybody wrote. You know, there are those people who wrote they want to be a doctor, there are those people who wrote they want to be engineers, there are those people who said they want to be, you know, nurses, you know, these big professions and everything. And Mr. Steve Harvey wrote that he wants to be on TV one day. And let me tell you one thing, as the teacher was reading these papers in front of other kids, okay, this was the plan, that whatever you wrote, you used to go in front of the other kids and you say what you wanted to do. And so it was Steve Harvey's turn, and he said that he wants to be on TV. And let me tell you one thing, the first person to discourage Steve Harvey was his own teacher. And the reason why the teacher discouraged him is because Steve Harvey was a serious stutterer, you know, like a heavy tongue, you know, he couldn't speak fluently, alright? You know, like before he construct a sentence, already you guys are like tired listening. Yeah, and the teacher discouraged him, and he told Steve Harvey that how can you be a TV presenter or on TV on general terms and you have that problem of stuttering. This was a person that was supposed to encourage him, but this is the person who discouraged him at that very point. But Steve Harvey never got discouraged at that point. In fact, he used that as a fuel to propel him to focus and to become the best person we see on TV nowadays, presenting, even forming companies, you know, Steve Harvey Global, you know, everything that he has done. And today we know that he's not stuttering. You know, let me tell you one thing that teaches me a lesson, and don't get discouraged by what you go through. Don't get discouraged by what you are going through. Just because somebody said something, don't get discouraged. And so Steve Harvey never gave up at that point. In fact, that discouragement became a fuel for him, you know, like a push for him even to pursue, even to go on. And along his life, even after completing schooling, we find Steve Harvey at one time he didn't have home. He was homeless. He was homeless guy, and he was spending. He used to live in his own car, and he kept on pushing. And one of the things he pushed through and it went through. Steve Harvey was a talented guy, and he was a comedian. He was a comedian, and Steve Harvey moved from being paid $25 to I don't know how much money, you know, 125,000 US dollars and even more in one night show as a comedian. And this came through determination, you know, focus. He kept on pushing, he kept on doing his best, you know. And this brings me to, you know, your talents, you know, your gifts. What are you using them to do? You know, some people are focused on, you know, other things, yet there's that skill that God has given you for free. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Probably you're not happy with your career, yet you have a gift that you can do effortlessly. What can you do with it? Yeah, and this is a call for you. A call to everyone who listens to me. What do you do with your talent? And Steve Harvey kept on pushing with his comedy. And let me tell you one thing. It is through comedy that brought him to TV. Because at one time, he got an opportunity to fly to another state. And he presented his jokes. And he was featured on TV. Alright? There's a story behind how he came to get even the flying ticket. Because he didn't have money in the first place. That's a story for another day. But he got an opportunity and he went to another place and presented his jokes, and that was the first time that Steve Harvey was seen on TV. And let me tell you one thing, dreams never die. As long as you work through them, dreams never die. That dream is like a seed that has been put inside of you, and it can grow to a very big thing that you never know. It's only you who know the magnitude of that dream. And even sometimes we that carry that dream, we don't know the magnitude of the dream that we carry. Unless we pursue that dream, unless we go forward through that dream, we have this faith. I'm encouraged because Steve Harvey was a believer. Yeah, he was a believer, and he kept praying. Yeah, he kept praying that one day this thing will go through. And now this is the time that after many years, you know, after many years trying to pursue this, trying to work out his talents, to work out his skill. Now this guy is on TV. Right now we know Steve Harvey presenting shows, you know, encouraging very millions, if not billions, millions of people around the world. Yeah, and I remember one of the TV shows I saw about Steve Harvey encouraging a young lady who is also a starter. And let me tell you one thing, he knew where to start because he went through the trouble. And let me tell you one thing, the moment you go through the trouble that you're going through, it's because God is aligning you to people who are of the same kind, who are going through the same trouble, so that you can be their fuel, you can be the encouragement, you can be their source of encouragement, that you tell them that it can be done, it can be done. And so what are the lessons are we learning from Steve Harvey? Number one is determination. You know, you are determined. No matter what people say, no matter what people do to you, no matter how discouraging comments they may say, naysayers. We call them naysayers. Whatever they say, you cannot give up. You know, you are determined, you are moving forward. You say that I am not going to stop here, I am moving forward. You know, another lesson that we are learning from Steve Harvey is the ability to have that faith. You know, you keep your faith in God, and you know that one day this thing, we say in Kenya that it's a jeeper, that it it will give itself, you know, it will come through. All right? Yeah, and let me tell you one thing, that you have to have faith, you know, and let me tell you that faith sees faith, you see how things will be even before they come to be. You know, you don't go by sight, you know, you move by your faith. All right? Yeah, and Steve Harvey is one guy who had enough faith to know that this thing is workable. After very many years, you can imagine, through schooling, he has been discouraged right from the beginning of his schooling life. But he has not lose his focus. In fact, he takes that as fuel. Can you take your discouragements as fuel to propel you, to prove these people around you that they are wrong? That they are wrong. Another thing that you are learning from Steve Harvey is that you need to be focused, guys. You cannot lose your focus. You cannot lose your focus. Another thing you don't have, you cannot give up. Yeah, you cannot give up on your dreams. You cannot give up on your career. You cannot give up on your skills, on your talents. All right, these are God-given. They are there for a reason, for you to become a better you. Even not for you yourself, but for other people. We find Steve Harvey nowadays, he has wrote very many books that he encourages people. The TV presentations that he's having, the TV shows, you know, he's encouraging people. You know, he's talking to the lives of people and he's transforming lives. I sometimes listen to his podcast. You know, he's transforming lives every day. And this tells you that if such a guy can rise from rags to riches, if he can rise from the low points of life to those high points of life, then that tells you that even you have the opportunity to become a better you. You have the opportunity to be the best of you. Alright, guys? Yeah, and let me tell you one thing. Do not give up. Do not give up. Just continue focusing. Do what you are doing. Give it all your best. I'm telling you, give it all your best. Yeah, don't give up. Keep on pursuing what you are doing. You know, don't get discouraged by what family members are saying, by what people are saying. I find it very unique that at this point, I can't see on Steve Harvey's life mentioning about relatives. And sometimes relatives can be so discouraging. But let me tell you one thing. Keep on pursuing, because you know the magnitude of your dream. You're the one who is carrying. The other person you're telling may not even understand about your dream. In fact, they see it is impossible for you to achieve that dream. And this, I've come to encourage you and tell you that if such a guy, if Mr. Steve Harvey, you know, is one of the guys, his net worth is unimaginable. I'm telling you. And this guy was homeless. Yet this guy right now, his net worth, you go check it out. Right? It's quite big, alright? Yeah, so if such guys are rising from rags to riches, then let me tell you one thing. Even if you are not into billions, man, you reach to this. You reach somewhere, yeah? You'll be among the millionaires, alright? Yeah, so don't lose hope. Don't get discouraged. Keep on pursuing what you need to pursue. You know your gifts, you know your talents, you know everything that you've got. Is there enough? It's enough for you. Alright, guys? Yeah, I hope you've been encouraged on a very short story. I know there's a lot about Steve Harvey. You can go and check it out about Steve Harvey. It's one guy who is very encouraging. So guys, until the next time, make sure keep on tuned to this channel, and if you have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, remember to hit the subscribe button, and let's meet in the next video. Alright, guys? Bye bye.